Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
About a December Thursday night right here in Duval that just fires me up. On top of that, it's Tennessee week. Oh, the rivalry there. It extends decades. And an opportunity for the hometown team to crawl out of the basement and now be part of a two-team tie for last place in the AFC South. That is what is at stake. The trip to Nashville to take on Tennessee, who's 3-9. Your Jaguars right now comfortably sitting at 2-10. My name is Rick Ballou. Great to have you with us. We are jam-packed on this Thursday. Tim Brando in 20 minutes. The Philly Godfather in 45. That's what we have for you. That is what we're going to do right here on a Thursday. I have to begin by saluting, just absolutely applauding the incredible, once again, example of generosity that you expressed all day, morning, day, and into the night. We set a record in our 17th year with the J Fund, the Tom Coughlin charity here in town, $279,765. I mean, spectacular. Just absolutely insane. I mean, you can make the case that maybe not as listeners are out there because the Jags are 2-10 and, you know, Florida State went 2-10. Yeah, there's been a little bit of resurgence as of late with the Florida Gators, but the numbers don't lie. The numbers that I see that I can't talk about, the text line, whatever it may be. Of course, that's brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. And last night, even in this hour, the 6 o'clock hour, a new record, nearly $21,000 was raised last night between the 6 and 7 o'clock hour, and we matched it with another 10, so we took it over $31,000. That is awesome, and that is what it's all about. As I said a night ago, and I mean this, I think there's a certain part in life, there's a time, for some it may come later than others, where it actually becomes more rewarding to give than receive. And that's the way I feel, and that's the way you feel every year. So I'm just tickled to be a part of this, but to see how you stepped up again last night was absolutely fantastic. Thank you to each and every one of you. All right, let's get to the now, and that is a couple of days away from playing football in Knoxville, and make that Nashville, we didn't really talk about, because of the timing and everything that did happen, Trevor Lawrence. And obviously, he is on the injured reserve. He could possibly come back for the final week, but why? It makes no sense. This is not a playoff team. They're not going anywhere. And you have the much bigger concern about his non-throwing shoulder. If, in fact, he does need surgery, and there's been some reports out there that he is going to have it fairly soon. That will be the second surgery on his labrum in the last 4 years. Remember, he had it coming out of Clemson. Remember the whole workout with Urban? Remember the national media is like, oh, my God, they're playing Travis Etienne at wide receiver. What's Urban Meyer doing? And this thing is upside down. Well, it was upside down. I guess they were half right. But if you remember, Etienne was working at wide receiver because they didn't want anyone to go within 10 yards of Trevor Lawrence. He wasn't going to hand off the football. He was going through rehabilitation in the offseason surgery. He's going to need it again. I'd love to hear, he's going to have it next week. Right? Now, that's going under. That's difficult. I'm not going to sit here and say, have your surgery here, have your surgery then. I mean, that's all in the individual as far as when they decide to do it. But if he is going to have it, obviously it's better off for him and the football team to have it as soon as possible. The last 24 hours for Eric Armstead has been a whirlwind. I mean, it really has. It honestly has been very embarrassing. If you saw him like the tweet that came out with Algier, and it created a tremendous amount of anxiety and just overall hate is a word I'd like to use, only in this case, by Jaguar fans who are like, what is this man doing? How can he possibly like this tweet after this defensive player in San Francisco, Aziz, put Trevor Lawrence out for the remainder of the year? Yet right after it, we find out that for a second consecutive season, he is a nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. He has been getting crushed on social media by Duval faithful. And I think it's warranted. I really do. I mean, enough of this. He's my former teammate. We love one another. This is what always drives me crazy when it comes to the sports that we cover. And I try to, in a lot of ways, dismiss it, at least somewhat, because you don't bite the hand that feeds you. But I've been saying it forever. Man, when that game is over, they're over it. I mean, it's like Cinemax at the 50-yard line. Look at it. They're grabbing each other. They're sticking tongues in ears. They're taking off shirts and signing them. And you're on your 18th beer, and you're miserable, and your week is ruined. They don't care. They are professionals. They turn the page. They call you sloppies. They're on to now Tennessee. They're over it. Do you think one member of the current Jacksonville Jaguars is aware of the fact that they have lost 6 straight games in Duval to Houston? 6 years in a row here. You think Doug Peterson is aware of that? You think anyone on the – no, they don't. You know about it as the fan. You take it with you each and every day. Let's play this before we take our first break because I think it's important. We're going to make this kind of abbreviated, and then we'll get back to it in our second hour. But here was Eric Armstead earlier today when approached by the media about why you liked that tweet.
First off, I love Trevor. He's a great teammate, great player, great person. And, what happened, seeing him getting injured was terrible. You never want to see that happen to a teammate of yours. And, also, too, Aziz is a great friend of mine. We were locker mates for 4 years, right next to each other. We have a great relationship as well, too. And so it was a weird situation for me, for sure, seeing my teammate get injured, but also, a friend of mine being in a situation like that. And, he was definitely in the wrong and, made a bang play that, I wish that could have back. But, to see the ridicule and him being ostracized the way he is and the remarks that people are making about him is also terrible. And, I feel like I can support my great teammate Trevor, and also I can support a friend in a rough situation when people are being, racist towards him and, a lot of hateful things being said about him. I know his character. He's a good dude.
I have such a problem with that. I hate that the race car got brought into it. I didn't see really an awful lot of that. Okay, I primarily saw people going after Armstead. I really didn't get into the timeline of anything that was sent to Aziz. But you got to be kidding me, man. Your opponent is not your friend, right? I mean, whatever happened to laying it all on the line? Whatever happened to going out there and trying to win a football game? Eric Armstead has not done anything all year. He's an incredibly overpaid underachiever as a backup rush end here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I don't care if he talked to I'm sure he was forced to talk to Trevor because of the heat he was receiving via social media. I don't think Trent Baalke told him to talk to Trevor. I don't think Doug Peterson told him to talk to Trevor. I don't think anyone in the locker room told him to talk to Trevor. But what are you thinking if you are Trevor Lawrence? Your season is done because of a cheap shot, because of a hit that could have ruined his career. And here comes a guy who was lauded as the second coming of Calais Campbell, and he's liking the biggest villain right now in the NFL who just hurt your quarterback. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up if you are a Jaguar fan. I mean, this season needs to end right now. Just forfeit the rest of it. Just cancel it. And you still got tonight, tomorrow, and this weekend, and 4 weeks after. You got 5 games. This is arguably the worst year that I can think of in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I understand they've had the top pick 2 years in a row. But during those seasons, they were projected to be really bad. This was supposed to be a winning team, a team that maybe had a shot of winning the division, if not certainly should have been in the race for a wild card. All right, opening comments are brought to you by Shmunez Vision. Family organization. They focus on personal, high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Shmunez, fellowship trained in cornea, cataract surgery, or refractive surgery. Cataract surgery will scare the living you-know-what out of you. And unfortunately, it's kind of a racket because we have no idea what it is. And when you go and you visit your eye doctor, they're like, yeah, you need surgery. And all of a sudden you're like, well, what does it mean? What do you? And they're like, oh, stop. I don't have time to answer your questions. I want you to walk down the hall here and speak with our surgery counselor because I have another patient. That's not the way it works at Shmunez. They're going to sit back and answer all of your questions. Obviously, you have them. That's one of the many reasons why Shmunez Vision separates themselves from the others. Check them out online at Shmunez Vision. You can also go to Instagram, get all of the testimonials for people who have been big fans of what Shmunez Vision have done with them over the last several years. All right, we got plenty to do tonight. Really looking forward to it. Let's kick it off with our friend Tim Brando. He is next. The Philly Godfather joins us at 6:45. There's a new one-stop shop for all things Florida State. Subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel, up-to-the-minute updates, analysis, and more. Plant the spear and subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles channel today. Ballou for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called The Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A. member FDIC.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
The 12 Days of Christmas is back and better than ever at Best Bet Jacksonville. From December 12th to the 23rd, we're lighting up the tables with our much-anticipated High Hands promotion, giving away over $330,000 in cash and prizes. The excitement continues to grow each day, starting at $1,200 and climbing up to $2,300, and the chance to set sail on a card player poker cruise. Explore all the excitement at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Get more Gators with Dan Hickett and me, Frank Frangie, on all things Gators on 1010XL Gators Podcast, with new episodes every Monday, brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, wherever you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Yo, it's your boy E to the T here. And fellas, we all know that athletes train every day to perform better on the field, right? But what if you could enhance your performance in the bedroom? No training required. That's right. I'm talking about that secret weapon, Blue Chew. A chewable tablet with the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin that ships right to your door in a discreet package. No doctor visits, no trips to the pharmacy. It's all online. Their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. They also have Daily Tad that contains 7 essential vitamins. And it's chewable too. And now you can try Blue Chew for the free ski. That's right, for free on me. Visit BlueChew.com and enter my promo code 1010XL. You only have to pay $5 for shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's promo code 1010XL. Let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here, and I just want to give a huge thank you and congratulations to Awaken 180 Weight Loss on their 10-year anniversary. Paige and her team have changed lives, mine included, with a solution that lasts. I'm glad I found Awaken 180, and I'm confident you will be too.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, it's what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our first contestant, a stay-at-home gymnast from Jacksonville, Florida. It's Gwendolyn Pierce.
Thank you, Monty. I don't know who installed my air conditioner, but it hasn't had a tune-up in over 3 years. Am I cool?
Let's ask our expert judging panel. Judges? I'm sorry, Gwendolyn. You're not cool. Johnny, tell her why.
That's right. To keep your air conditioner performing at its best, you need a skilled technician to check your pressures, voltages, and air filters in the fall and the spring. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, our club members get 2 free visits a year to make sure that you are cool.
Can you tell me if my haircut is sexy?
You're better off not asking.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
All right, we got a lot to do tonight with you till 8 o'clock. Let me help you out right now, though. Let me tell you this. Forget about any stress at all as far as Christmas. Blue Crab Crab House. Spend $50. You get a $65 gift card. That's it. Simple as that. $50. You get $65 right off of San Jose, located on Julington Creek Road. Again, open every day except for Monday, 4:30 until 9 o'clock. How does that sound? $50 will bring you $65. What a great gift. Love the folks at the Blue Crab Crab House. I also love my friend Tim Brando, who's been fighting it. He had a double billing over the weekend, and the throat has not been 100%, yet he still makes time for us here in Duval. Timmy B, hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate a couple of minutes.
I did, and it's good to be with you. And yes, my voice is back, much to the chagrin of a few fans that can't stand me. but that's too bad. They're going to have to put up with me. Okay, so that's life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was, the last weekend was one of those days that, the Boise game was great. It was exciting. Place was packed. Hustled out to my flight, and then I got in the plane, and Rick, I had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nothing. You're in the business.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No.
You open your mouth, and nothing, literally nothing was coming out.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, it was a long trip to Bloomington, Indiana that night. And I got to my hotel about the time and we were up at 5:30 in the morning for a 10 a.m. game, Mountain Time Zone. Okay. So,
Right.
give you some idea of the time difference. And then I arrive in Bloomington at about the time the fifth overtime was starting between Georgia and Georgia Tech.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I still have no voice, and I'm supposed to be on the air the next night. So I went to bed that night thinking, okay, honey, tea, what can we do? What can we do? I woke up the next day, the voice felt like it had come back. I just needed to rest. But then it started snowing the next day in Bloomington. We had a strong snowstorm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 2 years in a row we've ended with snow globe games.
And those meteorologists were wrong because you told me it wasn't supposed to snow there last week.
No, it was supposed to be cold, but not. And I think the wet part of the cold, enhanced it. So whenever I began to project my voice, like I could talk under my breath, but you can't talk under your breath when you're broadcasting a football game. So whenever I got a little excited, my voice cracked, and I had to find the right octave and just continue to nurse it. We had a stage manager that knew how to make some really good apple cider and pour the honey in the cider. And about halftime of the game, my voice stopped cracking on me, and I was able to, get through it. But it was brutal. There's nothing worse for a broadcaster than to feel okay.
Yeah.
And then when you go to talk, nothing comes out. But just the wear and tear and the time zone. Usually it has to do with the travel and lack of rest. But more than anything else, I think I had a little bit of a bug that was coming through me as well, which I got back home and I was really sick after my trip had ended. I was really sick, and it was just one of those deals that went through your nasal passages, head, down to your, throat and into your stomach. And I'm fine now, so I'm good to go. We've got a doubleheader of women's basketball on Fox, the Sharp Women's Invitational here in Brooklyn, New York. And we're going to see Paige Beckers and UConn, and Louisville is playing them. And we got Iowa, the post-Caitlin Clark Iowa Hawkeyes, and Tennessee. Tennessee's looking to find themselves. So some storied basketball programs on the women's side. And Sarah Kustok and I are going to do it Saturday night, and I'm off to the races. And next week it'll be Big East hoops and Big Ten hoops. So with men. So I've made my move to the oblong ball where they don't screw up the postseason, and we don't have to worry about a damn committee screwing over teams again.
Yeah.
And if they are screwing over teams, they're teams that would have been 65th, 64th, 63rd, not 10th, 11th, and 12th. So.
Well, we appreciate you being here, and I know you're not 100%, so I won't ask you to drop a Brother Bino on us or anything along those lines. Just a few minutes, though, but let's stay with, the latest installment of the playoff rankings, and the thing that comes out more than any is Alabama with 3 losses, and, if Georgia was to lose, they would have 3 losses. Just give your overall thought on what you like and what you don't like with what was just released on Tuesday.
Well, what I don't like is the fact that it's just it's so typical, and we see it every year. Now this time it wasn't the last standing show because Alabama's not going to play in the SEC championship. But had they been playing in the SEC championship, it would have been. And they may do something to screw it up again next week. Who knows? But Ward Manuel, who's a good guy, by the way, Louisiana man, actually, played at Michigan, played for Bo Schembechler. But, reasonably intelligent, well-meaning people can become spokespersons for the committee and sound like they're, on Mars, when they talk. They cannot give you any transparency or any accountability for any of the decisions they make. Just throwing out names of, hey, they were 3-1 in the top 25.
Right.
And that's the measurement. Well, wait a minute. Hang on just a second. How many 9-3 or 10-2 teams did said team in the ACC play or said team in the Big 12 play that weren't ranked? Well, that's the byproduct of what? A system that's corrupt. The metrics are in line to always cater to the Southeastern Conference and to the Big Ten. It's that simple. It is absolutely that simple. Now, the Big Ten situation sort of takes care of itself because it's so top-heavy. When you've got Oregon, Penn State, and Indiana all hovered around one loss or zero losses much of the season, then that sort of takes care of itself. And I'm here to tell you, after watching Indiana, and yeah, they were playing god-awful Purdue, I get that, but they are more than deserving, and I believe will win a game in the CFP. That's what's going to be fun about this when we finally get to it. There are still going to be some teams that people think have no chance to win a game in the CFP, and it's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's going to happen, and people will begin to understand what I'm talking about when I say there's such parity in the game. And there is no question a bias, a built-in bias within this system to take care of those two conferences. And I understand that to a point. But within that bias, we also have brand bias, which only makes it worse. And that brand bias is extremely significant in the SEC if you look at if reasonably intelligent football people can watch these teams play and know that, A, South Carolina is playing better than any team with 3 losses in the SEC right now. They've won 6 in a row. Their quarterback is healthy. Okay.
Yep.
Any reasonable football person could measure Ole Miss's wins, especially recently, the blowout of Georgia as example A. Does Alabama have a win of that caliber? No.
No, they don't. Well, they beat Georgia, but that was a different set of circumstances.
And they blew a big lead. Barely won the game.
Yep.
Couldn't hold the lead in the second half of that game. And, oh, by the way, played an unranked 5-5 Oklahoma team on national television for the world to see, and they got boat raced.
Yeah, they did.
Absolutely housed by Oklahoma, a team going absolutely nowhere.
19-point favorite against Vanderbilt, lost there.
I mean, do we need to talk about who has the worst losses?
There's no doubt.
I mean,
yeah.
So it's just a joke begetting another joke. And I said this on my social media yesterday. You may have seen it. It's gotten quite a lot of play. I saw what Joel Klatt said. I couldn't disagree with him more. If you're just going to say, well, Alabama's 3-1 against the top 25, therefore they go in. No. If we're going to just use that as the metric to determine who is the best 3-loss team in America, well, that's going to always favor. If it were the Big Ten story, it would be Ohio State, correct?
Yes.
Sure it would.
Yes.
Same story. It's the bias within the bias. And Joel, listen, I respect him as a game analyst. Worked with him my first year at Fox. But his built-in bias is just that. He has been absolutely drawn in by the haves because that's all he ever sees. He sees Ohio State week after week after week after week. And if, oh, by the way, Alabama happens to play a game on Fox, he's going to do it. Mm-hmm. So he has no clue what Iowa State looks like. He has no clue what some of the other teams that I've been covering this year look like. Boise State's like discarded. It's almost like, well, there's Ashton Genty, and then that's it. Did you watch the game?
Mm-hmm.
Did you happen to see how well that kid Madsen played? How many really good receivers they have on that team? And their defensive ends, they're leading the country in sacks. They've got 2 of the best bookend defensive ends in the country. And yet, well, if they lose that game to UNLV, then they're out. They're out. So you don't get, no benefit of the doubt for those teams. But we give all kinds of benefit of the doubt to Alabama and Ohio State. And brand bias is clearly in charge of this thing. And what I proposed in my tweet, and I absolutely believe this, all right, and that is we just need to tell the Big Ten and the SEC to go have their own party. Just let them play it off, okay? And again, I have the utmost respect for Joel, and if he wants to go do every game involving Alabama and Ohio State, that's fine. But I completely disagree with him in terms of the way we're going about this selection process. We just need to nuke this right now. We just need to nuke it right now. Brett Yormark and Jim Phillips, the commissioners of the ACC and the Big 12, and the Mountain West and everybody else, they just need to start their own championship and put it up for rights and see what networks bid on it, and let those teams let those leagues have a playoff amongst themselves, and then let the SEC and the Big Ten have their playoff, and at the end we'll have a Super Bowl.
Interesting.
See who wins.
Interesting.
Why not?
Very interesting.
We'll just turn it right into the AFC versus NFC.
Yeah, and nothing's sacred over there, too. By the way, everything leaked. I don't know how thoroughly you study the lines because you are a broadcaster and in the play-by-play sense, but Alabama was plus 100. And the day of the playoff rankings, all of a sudden they became minus 186. It was like a huge movement. I mean, everyone knew. This wasn't a surprise to anyone when it came out. I mean, Las Vegas knew about it. All the offshore accounts knew about it.
Yeah. It's just you could see it coming from the standings the week before when they had them poised, right on the cusp, right at 12. All they needed was something to happen, and it did when Miami screwed the pooch. Now, look, Miami has only themselves to blame. Look, I get all that. I have no problem with Miami not being in, okay? But I do have a problem with Alabama being in over those other SEC teams.
I got you.
I think Ole Miss and South Carolina are both better football teams right now than Alabama.
I think a lot of people would agree with that. Yeah.
And are playing at a higher level, and anybody, it's amazing how any coach, whether it's Lane Kiffin or Shane Beamer, they can go out and do what they have to do, and that is defend their team and lobby for their team. And no one says, everybody jumps them. Everybody just says, "Oh my God, you're better than this. Why would you do that?" And yet, the commissioner of the conference does the same thing on Twitter, and the AD at Alabama.
I know.
I've known Greg Byrne forever. I couldn't believe he posted that last week. Could not believe it.
Yeah.
Don't you guys know the fix is already in? Why bother with politicking? We know the fix is in.
And the propaganda as well, and I don't expect you to take shots at people who do what you do for a living, but Joe Tessitore coming out telling us every other play that if Georgia wins this game, they're already in the college football playoff, where I'm sitting with people like, is that true? Are they in? I'm like, according to Joe Tessitore, they are in. But you know that came down from the top.
High.
It had
that
to
came
have.
Down on high. Yeah. From Mount Bristol. Yes. No question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was sad.
And you watch this weekend, okay? You watch game day, just like last year. They spent the last hour and a half of that show just absolutely lampooning Florida State and telling the world why Alabama should be in over them. Oh. And the commissioner was there to help them with the infomercial.
I know. I remember.
It's beyond the pale. It's just beyond the pale. And for the good of the game, all right, for the good of the game, so we can end all of this. I don't like being critical of my friend Joel, who I have the utmost respect for what he said in his tweet. But, my God, I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. If 3-1 versus current top 25 is the only metric that you're going to use, then that's a problem. There's many more metrics to utilize, and it's very unfair to those teams that are in conferences that know they're not going to play 4 or 5 teams that are ranked. The SEC knows going in, Rick, that they're going to play at least a half dozen teams that are in the top 25.
Yeah. So,
of course, they're going to have a better record within the top 25. Do they think we're all that damn stupid? Apparently, they do. And you're right. There are enough that will get in line and just follow along. And you see them all the time. These clowns, these fans that believe they know and don't know on Twitter, they'll constantly throw up, how many players have been taken in the NFL? I don't give a rat's ass how many players have been taken in the draft by the NFL. Has nothing to do with what we're discussing here.
No.
Okay? I mean, I was there for the SEC's dominance. I covered that league for 30 of my 40 years in this business. And God bless them. I wouldn't be where I am today without the Southeastern Conference. But I'm not just going to sit back and watch this go on and not say something's wrong, because something is. Something is just dreadfully wrong. And if the SEC and Big Ten believe that they just play at a different level and they want to have their own country club with their own national championship, go get you some. And I think the leaders of the other conferences should just say, all right, we're going to go do our own thing. And then if somebody wants to put that on television, we'll see how much they'll pay us. And then, you know what, at the end, maybe we can take our winner, put them against your winner, and we'll just have our own Super Bowl. I think that's the best thing we could do for the future of the sport.
It's interesting. It's an interesting idea.
Because going to 16, which I'm a fan of, and I'd like to see us go to 16. And listen, I think the playoff will be great. I think we will see some upsets. But the narrative is not going to change, Rick. It's like no matter whether Boise wins a game or Indiana wins a game or the winner of the Arizona State, Iowa State, which I think is either one of those teams will be dangerous in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they win or not, the narrative will already be set. Well, that team just wasn't ready for them. They overlooked them. They didn't play as well. They'll never give credit to the teams that aren't brands.
No.
It has turned into a WWE television show. That's what it's turned into.
Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing with that. And I really went off on that Monday, particularly, with the way the Tessitore had that broadcast. I thought it really set back the game a number of years.
I like Joe, but I think the flair for the dramatic sometimes can catch us all. But to your point, I don't think there's any question that there is an edict from on high, and to some extent, they are just preaching to their own choir when they're on the air. Now, that's not true with all broadcasters, but it's true with many.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
hey, Timmy, great work as always. Tell us again, what do you got planned? You got hoops coming up on Saturday.
Hoops Saturday, and then I'm going to go home and rest it up again, and then I've got hoops the following Saturday, Seton Hall at Rutgers. Then I got Rick Pitino going back to Providence on December the 20th for our Friday night hoops package. So a lot of Big Ten, Big East hoops coming up. I'll work until December the 20th, and then I'll take a couple of weeks off through New Year's, and then get back into the conference phrase back in January. So still plenty of time for you and I to grind here on a weekend.
Oh, we're going to do it. No doubt. And by the way, I was still in Boston when Rick Pitino had Billy Donovan at point guard at Providence.
Starting at guard, number 34, Billy Donovan, number 34.
All right, Tim. Hey, lots of fun as always. Do appreciate it, and have a great call on Saturday.
All right, Rick. Great talking to you. Say hello to all my friends in Jacksonville, okay?
There he goes, the great Tim Brando. I love his idea. I do. And let me say this as well. I don't talk a ton of college basketball because it's not nearly the sport it once was, but I miss the old school Big East. The old school Big East rocked. And you were always setting up for that Georgetown, Syracuse match. I mean, that is when ball was ball. But Providence, Seton Hall, and St. John's, and Boston College, and Villanova, and Pitt. I mean, that was great old UConn, kind of a late to the party. But that was thrilling. Big East. David Gavitt, Big East basketball back in the day. But like everything else, that is now gone. Brando with an interesting idea. What do you think? 641-1010. That is the way to join us on the text line. 641-1010. Coming up next, we hear from the Philly Godfather.
We're H-A-P-P-Y, H-A-P-P-Y, because Happy Honda Days are here. Everything is bigger. Bigger selection, bigger discounts, bigger trade-in values. Honda, quality, value, safety. Don't miss Happy Honda Days, going on now at your local Honda dealer.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
What's happening, folks? E.T. here. And come hang out with your boy at Mr. Chubby's Wings, West Side location this Sunday. $9 pitchers, the best wings in town, and of course, the Titans and Jags will be on all their televisions. All the NFL games will also be on, so you won't miss anything. I'll have a box where you can register for a chance to win a pair of VIP passes to welcome to Rockville. This Sunday, 1 p.m. Come hang out with me at Mr. Chubby's Wings, West Side. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Joint replacement surgery is always a tough decision, but relief from chronic pain may be just around the corner. Dr. George Barry here, and there's a lot to consider to make sure you get the proper diagnosis and best path back to the range of motion and mobility you had. Age, lifestyle, and overall health all play a part. Let the team at Barry Orthopedics give you a full analysis to help you make the best decision. Log on to BarryOrthopedics.com or call the office to make an appointment. With offices across Jacksonville and ready to help you feel good again, we'll get you back on the road to recovery at Barry Orthopedics.
When you roll into a convenience store for some cold Bud Light, you want to make sure it's, well, cold. Check out the big coolers at Circle K. They make sure it's chilled and ready to go for the big game or party. Swing by Circle K and pick up some cold Bud Light.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 5th, 1978, baseball player Pete Rose signs a 4-year, $32 million contract with the Philadelphia Phillies, becoming the highest-paid baseball player.
Southampton invites you to enjoy a round of golf and then a round with your buds, thanks to their game day special. Every Saturday and Sunday during the season, order up 10 wings and a cold pitcher for just $22. Plus, being a member at Southampton has its privileges, like a $500 gift card when you join with a paid initiation fee. All the details are at golfsouthampton.com. Twilight golf every day with special rates after 3 o'clock. Don't forget trivia Thursday nights and music on the patio Friday night. All at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Why do you choose Farah and Farah? First, we have the financial resources to take on any insurance company, and our track record proves that we know how to win. Our attorneys and staff are a team, and we've worked together for decades. To us, our job is much more than just a paycheck. We love to help, and this is important. We never forget. It's not about us. It's all about you. Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. If you're looking for jewelry this holiday season, we have what you want at Underwoods, and we carry the hottest and best names you'll find anywhere in North Florida. The biggest name in designer jewelry is David Yurman, and his looks are more popular today than they were years ago when Underwoods introduced this designer to Jacksonville. And we carry David Yurman not just in ladies' jewelry, but also in timepieces in his extensive collection of men's jewelry. If it's a watch you're looking for, we carry Rolex and other watches considered to be the best in their price points. We also carry extensive collections of the jewelry we import directly from Italy and Spain that are always popular for their quality, style, and value. So if you want the hottest and most popular jewelry and want to be waited on by the most professional jewelry staff in the business, stop by Underwoods.
Underwoods, where customers are served with quality and respect. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra. Underwood Jewelers.
Hey gang, Dan Hicken here for America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with more than 10 million active members. It's Prize Picks. First things first, download the app today and use code JAX, that's J-A-X, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download that app today. Use code JAX, $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. How to play? All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, like Is Jared Goff going to throw for more than 230 passing yards? Will Saquon Barkley have more than one touchdown? Will Travis Kelce have less than 70 receiving yards? You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, which they usually do, I get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks also now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals. Prize Picks, run your game.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Let's bring in the Philly Godfather. We missed him last Thursday. Hopefully he had a very happy Thanksgiving. I met both his sons, and he does join us here tonight. Philly Godfather, I hope it was a good one for you and the family.
Yeah, it was beautiful, man. I'm so blessed. I got the best of both worlds. We got the Greek food. We got the Spanish food for Thanksgiving. It was amazing.
Man, it was. It was great. I had a lot of fun as well, and it's one of our favorite days of the year. And, of course, we had 4 straight days of football. Let's begin with that. We got one coming up here tonight. Thursday night football. Been kind of an interesting year so far, but let's start there. What do you make of tonight's game? Green Bay visiting Detroit, Philly Godfather.
Yeah, Rick, I like the Packers here. I mean, if we go back to the last time they played in Week 9, the Packers had 6 more first downs, 150 more total yards. But it was really the penalties and the turnover that hurt Green Bay in that game. And this time around, the Packers, they're the much healthier team. The Lions' pass defense is all banged up. It's the second time around for a divisional game, and they're giving me 3.5 points. I like the Packers here plus 3.5. I also think Jordan Love has a huge game. I went over 246.5 passing yards for Love. I went over 1.5 touchdowns for him as well, and over 22.5 points for the Packers minus 150. So there's some props there for you guys.
Boy, those props sound very gettable tonight. 1.5 touchdowns. What do you say, 246.5 yards?
246.5 passing yards and over 22.5 team total points for the Packers.
All right, that's coming up tonight at 8:15. Green Bay visiting Detroit. What a weekend in college football. Our only rematch brings us Texas and Georgia. How do you see this one?
Yeah, originally Longhorns opened up a small 2-point favorite. The combined total was set at 49. And since then, we've witnessed the price on Texas reach as high as -3. Before some resistance hit the screen, some sharp money took Georgia plus 3, which forced the bookmakers to move that line back to 2.5, 2, depending on who you're betting with. The total has also seen a 1-point uptick. It's plateaued at 50 at some of the sharper offshore books and in Vegas. So there's some sharp money on the over there. Surprisingly, 70% of tickets punched and 75% of the early overall money wagered has been on Texas. It seems like the public's given up on Georgia here. They've only covered the spread 25% of the time all season, so I guess the public's not looking to bet Georgia here. I'm on the square side. I'm with the public. I like Texas -2. They got some nice wins over Michigan, A&M, and Oklahoma. And even though they lost to the Bulldogs in Week 7 by double digits, they gave the game away. They turned the ball over 4 times in that game, and I can't see this happening. A little concerned with the left tackle for Texas. He's a little banged up, but from what I'm reading, he's going to play. So I like Texas here. I think they're the better team that played the more consistent football all season.
All right, there you have it. Philly Godfather, your information out there for our listeners.
Yeah, you can find me on X at Philly Godfather, and the website is thephillygodfather.com.
All right, we have 2 more games in the world of college football. The Atlantic Coast Conference, SMU, one of the great surprises this year in all of college football, their first year in the ACC, against the Clemson team that has 3 losses.
Yeah, this line shot up to as high as 2.5 points SMU laying 2.5 at a couple sports books. There's still a bunch of 2s, 1.5s out there if you're looking to bet the Mustangs. Again, I'm feeling square this week, but I like SMU here, -1. On paper, they got a top 10 defense. They've outperformed the market at an 8-4 clip this season, right around 67%. They've been covering the spread. If you look at who they played, their schedule, I mean, they smoked Pittsburgh by 23 points. They beat Louisville by a touchdown, while the Tigers lost to Louisville and struggled against Pittsburgh, winning 24-20. SMU, in my opinion, also has a better offense. And all I got to do is lay 1 point. I kind of like SMU there, Rick.
Yeah, all of these games are tight, no doubt about it, all within a field goal or less. And let's get to the final one. That's number 3, Penn State, number 1, Oregon, as far as the latest seedings. That'll be at 8 o'clock coming up on Saturday night in Indianapolis. What do you make of this one, Philly Godfather?
Yeah, the line's 3.5. Oregon's favored by 3.5. I haven't bet it yet. I'm hoping that line drops down, but if not, I'll probably buy the hook and lay Oregon -3. On paper, defensively, I mean, both teams look pretty close. It looks like a wash. Offensively, both teams average 6 yards per play. So statistically, the game looks like a toss-up. But when you look at the market, I mean, Penn State is just 6-6 against the Vegas number this season and couldn't outperform the market in both games versus ranked opponents. 2013 loss to Ohio State, and they beat Illinois, but they didn't cover. While Oregon, on the other hand, they covered against both the Buckeyes and Illinois. And when it comes to coaching, quarterback play, the two biggest positions on a college football field, Oregon has a big edge. I'm not a big fan of James Franklin. I like Oregon -3, and I'll probably bet them on the money line.
Yeah, I mean, there's alumni that aren't big fans of James Franklin, including one of my real good buddies here in town who played for Joe Pa, who has no confidence that they're going to be able to win what is considered now, obviously, a big game in the Big Ten championship. All right, Billy Godfather, best of luck at your plays. Once again, your information out there for our listeners.
Yeah, on X at Philly Godfather. The website's at phillygodfather.com, and every Thursday night on the best radio show in the world, the Rick Ballou Show.
We're honored to have you. We'll talk with you next Thursday. Thank you.
Good luck, guys.
There he goes, the Philly Godfather, ladies and gentlemen. Just handing out winners. This is great. It almost is like an NFL tab if you look at the card this weekend. I didn't ask about Iowa State, Arizona State. If Tim Brando's listening, he's probably upset with me now. Iowa State, Arizona State, ASU -2. Georgia, Texas, Texas -2. Penn State, Oregon. You just heard him say 3.5. I see some 3s. Clemson, SMU. SMU -1. UNLV, Boise State. Okay, we get away from the power conferences, but that is an interesting game. Boise State favored by 3.5. Tulane and Army. Tulane is favored by 5, and I think that's it. There may be another game sandwiched in there that where teams are not in the top 25 that are actually playing this week on Championship Saturday. Let's see. You go Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State. That's actually in Jacksonville. Did you know that? Jacksonville, Alabama.
I figured. Yeah, we got Maction, too.
Yes, we do. We have the MAC.
Ohio versus Miami of Ohio, which is also a 1.5-point spread. And then Lafayette, Louisiana Lafayette, which I thought they changed their name to Louisiana, but I guess they changed it. And Marshall. I don't even know what the hell conference that is, but that's only a 5.5. That's the biggest spread of the day at 5.5, which is awesome. Yeah, like usually even if it's even if it's Championship Saturday, you'll usually have a team sneak in that isn't as good. Are you surprised that after what happened in Texas that Georgia's still an underdog in this game?
No, because it feels like Texas is playing better football now. But it's hard to get over their first matchup, though.
Exactly, but if you look at what happened, if you remember that game, Texas gave them the ball in Georgia or in their own territory like 4 times. I think they started at like the 35 as the furthest back, like in the whole first half. So Texas, Georgia went out to that lead, and Texas could never come back. But you don't expect Ewers to be completely lost like he was seeing ghosts in that first game. And Beck also sucked. He had 3 picks in that game. So I expect the quarterback play to be much better.
Yeah. And Georgia's beaten up. Looks like ETN is going to be back. They got a couple of issues that we won't know until probably game time on defense. Beck looked like his shoulder or his arm was bothering him in that matchup against Georgia. That's going to be fascinating. Texas, win or lose, they're in with only one loss. If Georgia loses, man, all of a sudden they have a third loss. You have Alabama with a third loss who does not play. And, of course, if Clemson was to get by SMU, Clemson would automatically make it into the field of 12 with 3 losses, and that begs the question, after listening to Tim Brando, I didn't have the time to ask him specifically about SMU, but just looking at it, it feels like there's no way. If SMU loses this game, are you going to kick out an Alabama? Are you going to kick out a Georgia with 3 losses? Maybe we'll talk a little bit about this coming up in our second hour. Why don't we do that? The MAC championship, I was saying that's going to be cold between Ohio and Miami of Ohio. It's at Ford Field, so it's indoors.
Well, it'll still be cold there, just
yeah,
not during the game.
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, let's get ready for our second hour. We've thrown a lot out there. Eric Armstead, the latest on the Jaguars. Another day, it feels like a marathon day. They just can't get out of their own way. We'll probably replay that soundbite for you if you missed it. For those who did, Brando's very strong comments, and then the Philly Godfather there with his picks. So anything that you just heard in our first hour is good in hour number 2. The best way to join us is on the text line. That is 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
You could win a weekly tailgate combo pack from Southern Steer Butcher. Wow. Valued at $100. And monthly winners get a Corona tailgate tent with a cooler, chair, and collectible football. It's the ultimate tailgate. Enter at 1010XL.com. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you heard? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are aiming to sell 1,000 vehicles this December. How? I've told my team to take all reasonable offers. We won't lose your business over price. With thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the ground, all priced to sell, we guarantee the most money for your trade and the easiest car buying experience ever. I promise we ain't leaving nothing on the table. This is the absolute last weekend. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives. Focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass. He told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carline from MyBookie. Our listeners have been killing it in a year full of surprises. MyBookie is the one book that's got your back. No fluff, no second guessing, just straight up action. Does your other sports book pay out when you push on a bet? MyBookie pays you back. And if you're new to the game and not sure where to start, we've got you covered. Step up, use our promo code 1010XL, and that'll double your bankroll with a 100% deposit bonus right from the jump. Here's a pro tip to get you rolling. The NFL teams with powerhouse offensive lines are dominating the run game this year, and betting game total unders has been printing money. Stack that with MyBookie's risk-free Thursdays, so why wait? There's a new risk-free odds boost every Thursday. To find the bet, click on the Bet Boost tab and scroll down. If it hits, you win. If it doesn't, MyBookie refunds your money. Sign up now. Get your double deposit bonus with promo code 1010XL, the best sign-up bonus for Florida bettors. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 47th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget, and with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, open 7 days a week in December.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my success with back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
That's going to have you with us. We're back to our normal Friday night schedule. We wouldn't have it any other way. 6 to 8 tomorrow night. Enjoyed the 4 to 6s while I did them. But I'm kind of a pattern guy, you know. Not like a coach. I'm not anal like a coach, you know, where everything's got to be to the exact second. Unless you're Urban Meyer, then you just kind of wing it. But I think at this point you are what you are, right? And you're kind of set in your ways. And I like to be able to roll in here and attack it at 6 o'clock. And that's going to be the case now for days and weeks and months and years and let's say a decade plus, right? Unless I get after it too hard and I just don't wake up. And I kind of feel that way, JJ. You know, I drink Miller Lite because I like the taste of it. You know, I like Guinness. I told you I've been drinking some scotch lately, which is a little bit scary to me. I'm an Irish whiskey guy, but I drink because I like the taste of it. I've never really been one who's like, oh man, it's been such a frustrating day. I need a drink. And I understand why people do that because I think it does help you get the edge off. Okay. And I don't want to get into a conversation. Well, then you're an alcoholic. Forget about it. I'm just talking about it. You know what I mean? No, yeah, I almost never drink for that reason.
Because I don't like associating that with something negative.
Yeah.
I don't like to feel crappy or, you know, emotionally crappy when I'm drinking. It's always a happy thing for me.
That's
always.
why, I barely drank this Saturday all year because I knew Florida State was going to get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
And
it's nothing to celebrate.
That's a great way to say it. It's a part of a celebration, libations, spirits. The There's nothing worse than an angry drunk. I'm a happy drunk.
Same.
Okay?
I like when my team wins, I want to go have a drink to celebrate. But when they lose, I don't feel like that.
However, this has been just a long week. And, there's just been a lot of little things that are going on. Nothing personal.
Good.
But just things I'm trying to put together for 2025. And, you had signing day yesterday. We had the very emotional show, which was spectacular with the J Fund. You had the loss, the Trevor injury, in my opinion, very little support. If there was an overabundance of support, if someone really put the hammer down and went after this situation the way that Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans did in Houston, you wouldn't have had Eric Armstead pop off on social media or like a tweet and have to turn around today and give us an apology. They would have known, hell no, I'm not going to do something like that within this team. So anyway, what I'm getting at is I feel like I just need a drink, okay? Which to, psychiatrists or psychologists or those who head up AA meetings and say, Ballou, you're a full-fledged alcoholic. Maybe, but I almost never go down that road. And I just kind of feel like I need to take the edge off.
If now's the time. Listen, if anyone, like you said, in that locker room, like Sunday immediately after the game, I'm just going to use him as an example. If Josh Allen was like so vociferous in his like, what a terrible hit, what a trash dude, like, I can't believe that happened. We got to get that out of the game, whatever, instead of just like everybody sort of saying that, but not really. And, you had Peterson up. If Peterson immediately in his post-game presser was just going at the Texans about how dirty of a play it was, all that, instead of, hey, Jarian Jones, maybe you shouldn't have thrown that punch, then yeah, you would never have Armstead liking that tweet. But because the culture in the club is like it is, then yeah, he can fire off a like on a tweet against his quarterback. And yeah, I'll say an apology later, but I'll still put in there what a great guy he is. And, of course they have to, he's got to be the victim somehow. They got to make it about race. He has to be the victim. It's just like so tiring, dude. I cannot believe Armstead's fake-ass apology today. Like, just don't even say anything.
Yeah, really disappointing. And on the same day where he's nominated for the Walter Payton
I love that.
Man of the Year award, there's 32 of them, from all 32 teams. But, I mean, the guy's done nothing all year. He has been a massive
stolen money
disappointment. He has brought nothing to this team. And when you mention the name Eric Armstead, okay, you were told a pass rush interior defensive lineman and a phenomenal leader. Okay? He's done neither. And to do something like that, I made this comment on Monday, and some people questioned me on it. I want to be really specific about how I say this. It feels like the way that people have not reacted, that Trevor's a disliked guy.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that is the case. He is a normal dude. He is a very likable guy. I've never seen any signs of anything along those lines. But when you don't, and there were 3 to 4 to 5 guys, Jarian Jones and Sheriff and Anton Harrison and Evan Ingram and Brian Thomas Jr., who did their part on the field. I still don't think there was nearly enough done on the field. Doug Peterson did not defend his quarterback immediately thereafter. And then you got the response where all of a sudden Houston had the ability to turn the story 180 because they were so overboard and aggressive in defending their player. And then Aziz comes out with a ridiculous tweet posting the Joker and the villain and all that. And Eric Armstead? likes the tweet. I mean, come on. That is so Bush. These are sacred grounds, the locker room, man. This is the team that you've been sweating with since the latter part of July, and it really rattles my cage. I cannot believe that something like that happened. And again, so it almost feels like, boy, they must not like Trevor.
Maybe they don't love him. Like I wouldn't go so far as to be like they don't like him because, like you said, what's not to like? He doesn't seem like a really rough around the edges guy. But they definitely don't have his back. They're not all in with him. No. They're not. They don't love the guy like you see some of these other teams love their quarterbacks. That's so clear. But when it comes to Doug, I mean, they hate each other. Like him and Doug, it seems like there's no love between them whatsoever. That's clear as day.
I hope something really leaks.
Oh, I would love that.
Nothing leaked with Urban. I think it was written off as he's a rookie. And we've watched the maturation process with Trevor over the now almost 4 years. I think something's going to leak here in the next month. And I think it's going to be extremely juicy. I mean, the way that this year has evolved, it's been one thing after another. I expect a real big story. You mentioned Josh Allen a moment ago. Yeah, I was in Philadelphia after the game. Remember when Josh Allen walks up and says, first of all, I want to say what a great game. Both teams play hard. And I'm like, this team can't win a game. You lost another one-possession game against Philadelphia, and here's a guy that just got all that money coming out saying, what a great game in a losing effort.
Like it didn't affect him at all. Like he didn't care at all that they lost the game. He was just happy to be there, and man, that to me, and that was pretty early in the season. I mean, that was
about a month ago.
Yeah,
right?
when they still had chance to go to the playoffs, and they were still in. One last thing quickly on Armstead. And the lack of leadership and everything.
Hold on. Before you get there, hold on. Just to wrap up Allen. I asked him about the offense coming out every week and never scoring and forcing the defense to play the entire. And he looked at me for 5 seconds.
No comment.
And then said no comment.
That was
which Josh Allen never gives you a no comment. So you can tell there's friction between the offense and the defense. Anyway, your Armstead opinion.
Yeah, that was a great point. I forgot about that with Allen. That was a lot being said without anything. He could have easily answered that, being like, hey, the guys over there on that side of the ball, I know they're giving their best and da-da-da-da, canned answer. But he didn't give any answer. All right, quickly on Armstead, and I'll leave it with this, with my opinion on him. I get that this guy was one of your best friends or is one of your best friends. You can just text him, man. You can call him. It can be just between you two, and you can have his back or agree with him and say, man, whatever you want to say about Trevor, but make sure it's just between you two. Like, that's so unprofessional, man. That would be like, you taking a shot at a fellow radio host on Twitter or something like that works at the station. Everybody knows you don't love everybody else that you work with, but you can't do that in public. It's super unprofessional at any level. Text the guy. If he's your best friend, it doesn't hurt to shoot him a text, man. Yeah, just keep it between you. But this is gross.
It's a great point. And you know what? I could take shots at colleagues on Twitter because no one else at this company follows me. On Twitter.
Well, so, I do.
So I could get away with it. I don't think there's any doubt. Yeah, I mean, it's a major miss. And I got to say, it's very surprising because of his leadership qualities, because he's considered an outstanding man. Again, he was nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year. This guy's resume is impressive. What he did here was just awful, and frankly, in my opinion, it's unforgivable. It is, especially on top of it with the way that Eric Armstead has played. I mean, he lost a lot of fans over the last 24 hours right here in Jacksonville. All right, tonight at the Blue Crab House, $3 drafts until 9 o'clock, $4 wines, $5 wells. All right. The weekend as well. How about Sunday? They open up at noon, $2.50 Bloody Marys and mimosas. That is the deal on Sunday. They're closed Monday Let me help you out as far as the gift giving. It's so simple. It's easy, yet it is spectacular. You spend $50, you get a $65 gift card from the Blue Crab House. Don't put any more thought into some gifts. I mean, it's as simple as that. $50 gets you $65. That is at the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It is on Jewington Creek Road.
One of the keys to victories is to know your opponent well.
Best thing I can do is point you in the direction of his competition.
Get insights and interviews from Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline when he takes you behind enemy lines. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island is excited to announce an all-new happy hour, 7 days a week. You heard right. Every day from 3 until 6 p.m. and again from 9 until close. Barley and Pie has deals you can't resist. 2-for-1 clay lights, 2-for-1 house wines, and much more. Experience the all-new happy hour at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This holiday season, give the gift of team spirit with FOCO. Apparel, headwear, home decor, and more. Use code 1010XL15 at checkout for 15% off. FOCO ships fast for the holidays. Head to FOCO.com/1010XL.
Get more Gators with Dan Hickett and me, Frank Frangie, on all things Gators on 1010XL Gators podcast. With new episodes every Monday, brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, wherever you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com.
Icebreakers Bar and Grill in the Community First Igloo is the coolest place in town for lunch and dinner. Watch the game with a wide selection of local beers, cocktails, wings, burgers, ribs, and more. Enjoy with family and friends at Emerson and I-95.
You've worked hard to have nice things. Protect and enjoy them with a luxury storage unit at The Shed, opening soon in Atlantic Beach. You got to see these places to believe them. What a smart investment out at AB. I can take 10 minutes, but I can't tell you everything. Go to theshedjacks.com or take a tour on Instagram.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's The Mangler.
If you know about artificial turf, you know it needs to be done right. Lauren Brooks here from my friends at Sunshine Turf, a family-owned company that will transform your outdoor space into the oasis of your dreams. A putting green, a pet run, a maintenance-free yard. Trust me, the team at Sunshine Turf are the experts you need to transform your lawn. With the highest quality products and budget-friendly pricing, get clean, low-maintenance synthetic grass by visiting sunshineturf.info or call 904-383-0243 to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about being a peacemaker. Friends, so often we can only want to help people who are in our inner circle. But God never had inner circles. The world was his inner circle, and he's depending on us to make a difference and to leave our mark in this life. So go out today receiving his peace and then sharing it with the world.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I just cannot say enough good things about my friends at Pella Windows and Doors. They have the highest quality products, the strongest limited warranties in the industry, and they just flat out look amazing. But don't just take my word for it. Consumer Reports still has Pella rated #1 in all 3 major window categories, so why not go with the best? Call them today or visit the Pella showroom and be sure to ask about the latest hurricane and impact-resistant windows. That's Pella Windows and Doors on Phillips Highway, and tell them Mike sent you.
Holidays are here, and if you're in need of extra cash, Beaches Jewelry and Pawn can help. Gold is at record highs. It's a great time to sell. Bring in your gold for an estimate today. Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
We heard you loud and clear, Jags fans, and we're taking it back to the 90s again. The Prowler throwback jerseys return to the field Sunday, December 15th, when your Jaguars take on the New York Jets. Be at the bank to see them in action while joining us for our Inspire Change game. To lock in your seats, head to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Tell you what's pretty incredible is we talk about coaches who become, the next man up, the hot coordinator, the hot college coach making their way to the NFL. Has anyone fallen farther in the last 2 years than Eric Bieniemy? I mean, this guy was mentioned to be a head coach so many places, and always the rub on him was that he was not calling plays under Andy Reid in Kansas City, but he was there and he won a couple of Super Bowls. I remember Eric Bieniemy back to his days as a great player at Colorado. But a year ago, he left and became the assistant head coach and offensive coordinator with the Washington Commanders. That was a disaster. He went to UCLA this year, same titles. Out. Mutual agreement after 1 year at UCLA. So he's open, but just to kind of show you how quickly things change. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, if the name Eric Bieniemy was mentioned before, let's say, Urban Meyer took over that job, that would have attracted a lot of people. You say the name now, Eric Bieniemy, they can be like, hell no. He hasn't done it. I mean, it seems like the shelf life for some is really short, right? For others, it can continue on and on and on and on. Frank Reich kind of fits into that category.
I'll give you one from college.
Who?
Matt Campbell.
There you go.
I mean, he's in the championship game this weekend, but he was talked about like he would take over like Texas or a big school like that. Now you almost never hear his name called. And I think because of the Bieniemy stuff, what you're saying, that's why if you're Ben Johnson, like jump on a job this offseason. I was surprised that he didn't you can't wait any longer, man, because your name is never going to be as hyped as it is right now.
Remember Pat Hill?
No.
At Fresno State? Oh, mid to late 90s through probably 2010 or so. I bet he held on to it for 14, 15 years.
Oh, I do remember that.
At Fresno State. His name was mentioned all the time for big jobs. What's his name? Not Bob, but
Stoops.
Stoops right now at Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, yeah, and
Mark,
Mark Stoops. Sometimes, and loyalty to me is huge. I mean, there's been a lot of examples where guys want to remain with a certain job for whatever reason it may be. I think we're always so quick to find the next job. The grass isn't always greener. It's not. Sometimes you're in a good situation. Maybe leave it at that. I mean, Lane Kiffin's in a real good situation right now at Mississippi. If things didn't turn around for the Gators, he would have been obviously the most pursued guy. We just saw 2 weeks ago Florida outplay and outcoach Lane Kiffin in a head-to-head matchup. We just saw it.
And yeah, like if it was even 2 weeks before that, you would have known. I remember we gave away Ole Miss Florida tickets on Matt's Friday afternoon radio show, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks before the game. And I joked on the radio, and everyone was in agreement. I said, hey, win these tickets and you'll go see the next future head coach of the Florida Gators take on the Florida Gators. But, that's holy crap, man. Yeah. Lane, I don't know what other huge job is going to open at the end of this offseason. Maybe it could be Ohio State or something like that, but it looks like he's just stuck at Ole Miss for right now.
Yeah, he's still going to get an opportunity.
Yeah. But I don't think this offseason. I don't think there's a big enough job for him right now.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, I love that there was some rumors that Lincoln Riley's looking at UCF, getting ready to leave USC. And I know my buddy Mike Bianchi's made a big deal about that on Twitter, putting all sorts of names that are out there.
To stir the pot, that guy.
Yeah, and
have you seen the latest Bill Belichick rumor?
Chicago?
UNC.
To me, that has Dan Mullen written all over it.
He's like the betting favorite right now.
Right. No, I have not seen Bill Belichick in UNC.
I don't know where that came from, but it's been trending. I have no freak.
It's not about the money. He's making enough money now as a broadcaster. Yeah.
72-year-old Bill Belichick has interviewed with the University of North Carolina regarding its head coaching vacancy per Grant Hughes. So this is a reliable source. Everyone's been reporting it for the last couple hours, but wow.
I missed this. How much it just came out?
That took me by surprise, man.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the next NFL head coach to be fired, Doug Peterson, minus 150. Translation, you give up $150 to win 100. Then it's Brian Daboll at plus 250, the exact opposite. For those who don't bet, you lay down 100, you get back 250. Then you got Antonio Pierce and Jared Mayo at 4-1, and then it gets a little bit deeper into that. Let me see if I can find.
While you look, this is why that Peterson bet would be stupid to take, because Shad's clearly shown that he's waiting until the end of the year to get rid of him. So, this isn't for the coach to be fired. It's for the next coach to be fired. So, most of these NFL owners don't wait until the very end of the season to get rid of these guys. So, I don't think Peterson's the next one. I think he will ultimately get fired, but he's not the next NFL head to roll, in my opinion. I think it's probably a guy in Vegas or somebody will get fired in season. I don't think it'll be Peterson. If you fired him, if you fire him during the season, it would have been before the bye week after the Lions game. Now it's almost like Shad's making him coach the rest of the year as punishment.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that. He's making $500,000 a month. $500,000 a week.
Jeez.
And, certainly they made him work through the bye. And Doug has just appeared to really have mailed it in. And it's so disappointing. He can always fall back on winning a Super Bowl, but this is probably it for Doug Peterson. Guys often get second opportunities. You have to be pretty special in order to get a third shot at it. And Peterson's still relatively young. I want to say he's in his late 50s. So age isn't a concern. It's the right opportunity. But I don't think he's done anything that would put other teams in a position where they're, knocking down walls to try to get at Doug Peterson. And I'll be the first to say it. This is really disappointing. And everything that's happened this year for the Jaguars, this is the biggest surprise for me. When the story's written on Doug Peterson, it's probably the biggest part of it is going to be those come-from-behind wins in his first year. Those last 6 games, that playoff victory down 27-0, they overachieved, and then the expectations grew. And even though it was a disappointing year in 2023, he was still 9-8. This year just completely, absolutely fell apart. And in a league where you're hired to be fired, and we're seeing changes all around, he's got to go. I mean, the locker room's broken. The entire organization is being laughed at. And again, there's just no leadership. Yeah, I'd love to be able to sit here and tell you that Eric Armstead had his apology today or said what he said because someone grabbed him and said, "What are you doing? Get out there and speak." But I don't know if that was the case. And if so, I mean, is there a veteran in that locker room? You think Josh Hines Allen's going to walk up to him? Tyson Campbell's going to walk up to him? Trayvon Walker's going to walk up to him? Christian Kirk? Anyone on that offensive line? I mean, they police one another. That has always happened in athletics. And if someone steps out of line, there's things behind closed doors that no one else is aware of where they say, "Hey, come on." But this guy's got a lot of respect. This guy's thought of highly throughout the NFL.
He was supposed to be the one policing. Like, that was part of him coming here, was being the veteran in the locker room who would tell some rookie who liked a dumbass tweet to go and apologize. Instead, you're being the guy who's being policed because you're the dumbass.
Yeah. And they can't get rid of him. Let me see. Because he's done nothing. Let me look at his contract. Let me pull it up real quick. Eric Armstead, here we go. He signed a 3-year. Computer's going a little helter-skelter on me here. He signed a, it was valued at $43,500. Let's see. He signed a 3-year deal, and the cash payout was $14,500. Here's basically what it comes down to for next year, okay? He will have a guaranteed salary of $14 million during the 2025 season. His cap figure is $7,400,000. Obviously, that is because he got an enormous signing bonus. If you were to cut him, just cut bait with Eric Armstead, he would have a $24 million dead cap figure. Okay, now that's pre-June 1st. Let's take a look at post-June 1st. And this is according to overthecap.com. Let me see here. Post-June 1st. All right, gets a little bit better, but it's still massive. It would fall to $16,500,000. You would save $9,100,000. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about here, the dead cap only comes into play against the salary cap, right? Whenever you get the salary cap numbers, what's it going to be next year? Let's just say it's $275 million for the team. The $16.5 million still counts against your salary cap. You bring back $9.1 million, however, if that makes any sense. So you're bringing back $9.1 million to your current 53-man roster, but you're still responsible for the $16.5 that falls against your cap. Everything goes against the cap. Players on injured reserve, players on your practice squad, it does not matter. But there are ways to make things more beneficial by posting a June 1st cut as opposed to pre-June 1st. I thought Jacksonville would do that this past year with Zay Jones. They would have saved like another, I think it was $4.5 million if they waited until June 1st. They didn't. They let him go early so he could test free agent waters. I mean, what's $4.5 million or whatever it was? But Zay did move on. This is basically a 2-year contract for Eric Armstead. When you get to the year 2026, his cap figure is $19,400,000. But again, you can cut him, and you only have to eat $7.5 million. You are able to recoup $11.9 million, and it gets even better if you were to wait until post June 1st. You would only eat $2.5 million as far as the dead money, and you'd be able to bring back $16,900,000. So that's a long ways away. That's 2.5 years away. Actually, it's 1.5 years away because this season is basically over. But I think that is absolutely unrealistic right now by looking at this contract where he'll be 32 years of age that you can just say goodbye to Eric Armstead. Not when you have $24 million in dead cap money. So we'll see what this organization does. Signed a 3-year, $43.5 million contract. $28 million is guaranteed. Now, you can't cut a guy on a $28 million guaranteed contract after 1 year. You just cannot do it. I mean, you can't. He's a 2-year minimum. So that is what you're looking at. And I know he's upset a lot of people, Eric Armstead. He has not had a good year. That is for sure. All right, when we come back, let's put our final touches on this one. Randy Shannon out in Tallahassee. Fired today. Became the interim defensive coordinator after Adam Fuller. Also the linebackers coach. Odell Hagen's moving upstairs. 31 years at Florida State. Defensive line coach, primarily the defensive tackles. Pot roast on his way to Tallahassee. That's right. Former Jaguar Terrence Knighton will now be a part of Florida State's defensive line. So some more coaching changes are going to happen for Florida State, but those two we do know for sure.
Sideline to sideline. That's a bad boy. Goal line to goal line. On best, here we go. The best defense is a Superior Fence. Each week, Superior Fence and Rail presents the Defensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
This holiday season, give the gift of comfort and joy. Comfort food and the joy that comes with digging into a huge plate of diner favorites from Metro Diner. And to make things even more merry, now through the end of the year, they're adding on a $10 bonus card with every $50 spent on gift cards. Metro Diner gift cards are the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Friends, family, or coworkers. Stop by the diner or metrodiner.com and get all your gift shopping done easily. Happy holidays from Metro Diner.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? You have questions? Call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate. There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Hicken here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser start the week by giving the ball to the best back in Duval.
And off, Fred Taylor.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein & Robbins DUI Defense Firm and Monahan Jewelers on 1010XL.
Deck the halls with pipes a-leaking, fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Oh no! Don't let plumbing ruin your season, fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Let's go!
Uh-oh. Got a clog or a leak messing with your holiday cheer? Call Duck Duck Rooter. We're the reindeer of repairs. Fast, reliable, and ready to slay your plumbing problems.
Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la, hooray!
904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. We're flushing your worries away this holiday season.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses an AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start to the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you can be credit card debt-free. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLS, consumeraccess.org.
Matt A's here for Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey folks, Dave Binion with Zero Res. I asked my wife what she wants for Christmas, and she said the same thing she does every year. She wants a clean home full of family and friends. That means the carpets, the tile and grout, the large oriental rug in our family room, and the huge sectional sofa that everyone loves to hang out on all need a good Zero Res cleaning. Give Zero Res a call and get your carpets cleaned for only $49 a room, and get your tile and grout cleaned for 25% off. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
It all begins with Speed Weeks, presented by Advent Health, and the running of the Daytona 500, February 12th through 16th. For ticket information, log on to Daytona500.com. Or you can answer this question right now for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Daytona 500. Who has led the most laps in a single Daytona 500? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010 for your chance to win now.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
It's been an interesting day. Eric Armstead gave his explanation to liking the vicious, not vicious, but whatever you'd call it. Is it the Joker? Right? That was who it was the actual pick that Aziz put out there. I think it was. Anyway, he called himself the NFL's biggest villain, and Eric Armstead liked the tweet. It's just another awful story during a campaign in which the Jaguars went 2-10. He has since not necessarily apologized, but just kind of explained. Do we have that once again? If we do, I'd like to play that for our listeners who may have missed it earlier. All right, why don't we go back to that? This is Eric Armstead. Again, I just explained it to you, but I understand that we have listeners who join us all the time. He put on Twitter a picture of the Joker, did Aziz, the same man who knocked Trevor Lawrence out of the game. And Eric Armstead liked it on Twitter. This was his explanation.
First off, I love Trevor. He's a great teammate, great player, great person. And, what happened, seeing him getting injured was terrible. You never want to see that happen to a teammate of yours. And, also, too, Aziz is a great friend of mine. We were locker mates for 4 years, right next to each other. We have a great relationship as well, too. And so it was a weird situation for me, for sure, seeing my teammate get injured, but also, a friend of mine being in a situation like that. And, he was definitely in the wrong and, made a bang play that, I wish that could have back. But, to see the ridicule and him being ostracized the way he is, and the remarks that people are making about him is also terrible. And I feel like I can support my great teammate Trevor, and also I can support a friend in a rough situation when people are being racist towards him, and a lot of hateful things being said about him. I know his character. He's a good dude.
All right, so there you have it. I don't know anything about the race. I didn't really read the timeline of Aziz. I only read the timeline of Eric Armstead. I didn't see anything racist there. I saw upset Jaguar fans that were like, what in the hell are you doing? The face of the franchise and your quarterback just got knocked out for the remainder of the year. That was his attempt to even out the distraction. It's awful. And it's another example of this being a bad organization. There's just no other way to say it, okay? It's just one thing after another. And it comes on the exact same day that he is told that he is the Walter Payton nominee of the Jacksonville Jaguars for the NFL Man of the Year. And, JJ, I thought you made the best point. These guys talk to each other all the time. Of course he's going to have friends in San Francisco. He was there. You pick up the phone, you text them, and you say, hey, man, yada, yada, yada. You don't put it out there on social media and upset your brand new fan base here in Jacksonville, who's going crazy that this team is 2-10, and you've been a big part of that. You've been a massive disappointment.
Exactly. Would have been super simple to just text your buddy, keep it between the both of y'all. You could have said whatever you wanted. Everyone knows that at work you don't get along with all of your fellow employees, but you can't air that out in front of everyone on social media. It's just super unprofessional, and I'm surprised that a guy that's been in the league that long did something like that. But I guess I'm not surprised because of the way this team has totally crumbled and, like, the culture that is the Jacksonville Jaguars 2024 team. I guess I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I don't believe it. That's the part that I probably should say. Just because he said it, I don't believe it. I don't think it's genuine. I think he was defending his guy. Okay? He probably has a lot of respect and is friendly with Aziz. And on top of that, to see how Aziz acted after the fact, he refused to take accountability and get off the field. He had that whole second set of circumstances back in the end zone. Okay, when we thought it was over, and Brandon Sheriff ran after him, and Brian Thomas Jr. ran after him. I mean, he was totally unprofessional. And for Eric Armstead, who was supposed to represent class and integrity, he just got nominated for the Walter Payton of the Year award. I mean, that is incredible. What an achievement. Just to be nominated for that. That is massive respect. And anyway, it's just it's another awful part of the way that this season is going to read, really from top to bottom. And, Eric Armstead, and I'm just looking at this whole free agency class. It's been just terrible.
Gabe Davis.
I mean, Mitch Morris did some decent things. He's held the fort at center, but Gabe Davis, 20 receptions.
Yikes.
Put on too much weight, can no longer run. When he did, he ran wrong routes. He had drop passes. Eric Armstead, don't even need to talk about him anymore. Ronald Darby was a star at the Miller Electric Center in the month of August. And I always thought that he was a late addition. I always looked at him as like a one-year Band-Aid. But he can't play anymore, right? His better days are behind him. I've been covering him, watching him since he was over at Florida State. He's not nearly the same guy. Darnell Savage, injured, then came back, hasn't been 100%, playing out of position. Just the guy, right? I mean, that's the way to define Darnell Savage. Just the guy.
You're sort of getting what you expected from him. You weren't. I certainly wasn't expecting much.
Yeah. Devin Duvernay injured. There was some potential there, but he just hasn't lived up to it. So if you look at Davis, Armstead, Savage, Duvernay, and Darby, all really bad grades. D's and F's. Mitch Morse, probably, maybe a C+, B, B-, B. I don't know. I'll let you rank it. There's still 5 games to go. But that's it. It was not a good free agency class this year for Trent Baalke and the Jaguars. I mean, you talk about cutting fat, and again, you got to hang on to these guys. You can move along from Darby. Duvernay needs to get healthy. We'll see what he can do in a year. But $21 million for Savage, you have to bring him back in 2025. Gabe Davis, you $39 million for Gabe Davis. I went through the Eric Armstead contract about 20 minutes ago. I don't have time to go through the Gabe Davis contract because the show is coming to an end. But I'm telling you right now, he's going to be a part of things. They still have to address wide receiver. And right now, the way I look at it, you've got Brian Thomas Jr. and you've got Parker Washington. You've got a 1, and you've got maybe your 3 in the slot. I think Parker Washington, with that full-time job, could be in the slot. You have to go get a number 2. Don't try to Gabe Davis me all offseason as your number 2. He's not it. He's just not the guy. Thank you to Tim Brando. Thank you to the Philly Godfather. Thank you to you. Remember, I don't check the text line now that the show is over. So if you'd like to get a hold of me, you can on X or Twitter. That's Ballou1010XL. Tomorrow night, we're with you 6 till 8. We get back to our regular Friday nights. We'll really take a look at conference championships Saturday in college football and, of course, the Jaguars and the Titans. Hackers coming up next for JJ LaSelva. My name is Rick Ballou. Again, we'll talk tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
I'm Jaguars today's middle linebacker, Tom McManus, and I give